Welcome to Irvine Valley College. Thank you all for attending the second annual Orange Empire Conference Media Day here at Irvine Valley. I'm Keith Shackelford. I'm the AD here, and it's our very great honor to host our colleagues today, especially in the sport of Orange Empire Conference baseball. We're proud to introduce the programs that are winners of 13 of the last 19 California State Championships, with hundreds upon hundreds of alumni who've moved on to Division I and Major League Baseball. Coaches from all 8 programs are here today, and we'll hear from each of them in just a few minutes. We think this event represents a standard of sophistication in multimedia relations and technology-based information for our fans, alumni, recruits, and even coaches at the 4-year level. We hope that wherever you may be watching this, it brings you up to date on the best community college baseball conference in the entire country. We encourage those who follow college baseball to also visit each of our colleges and their respective websites for results, rosters, and more. Gentlemen, without further ado, it is my great pleasure to introduce our first speaker. Joining us from Santa Ana College is Don Snedden. Coach Snedden enters his 28th season as the coach of Santa Ana College baseball and is the winningest coach in California community college history. Under Snedden, the Dons have won 3 state titles, 12 conference championships, including 2007 and 2008 when he was named the OEC Coach of the Year, and have won more than 900 games. Previous to 1976, the Santa Ana baseball program had just 14 winning seasons in the previous 43 years. But since that time under Coach Snedden, the program has gone 27 straight seasons above 500, including 19 times above a 700 winning percentage. Snedden is yet another community college baseball alum as well, as he was an all-Southern California player at Cerritos during his playing days. Gentlemen, please welcome Don Snedden.
Thank you for that kind of ovation there. It's always fun to start this off here as a leadoff hitter and talk about baseball, especially with the Orange Empire Conference. When you start putting your club together and you start preparing for something like this, you start panicking, realize that maybe you have a lot of holes to fill. And so when I was looking through our roster here, I realized we do have a lot of holes to fill out here. We had 54 home runs that we have to make up, and I don't know how we're going to find that with our current lineup. We had 22 wins of some pitchers that have left. This game's all about pitching, and then when I went through this, I realized that because of some circumstances that are beyond our control that happened during this winter, that it's a possibility we have maybe one returning sophomore pitcher, and that's it. So our freshmen are going to have to mature very, very quickly. We are lucky we have some individuals with a little bit of experience. R.J. Hively was a transfer from Cal State Fullerton. It was a 2-year redshirt guy at Cal State Fullerton. But it's going to have to be picked up by other individuals who are not tested at this level. Guys like Scott Braffett, Ben Burke, Marcus Garrett, and Sean Slavette are some people that we're going to count on to throw some innings that's going to have to step into the fire right away. Offensively, we should have a good club. I do like our club offensively. We have some people that have transferred in that have helped us immediately. Otherwise, again, we're going to be with just freshmen. Some people I think that are going to make some big impacts is Brett Tanos, who's from San Diego State, will be our second baseman. He generates a lot of power, a very offensive player, and has improved defensively to probably be a major prospect at Division I level. We also have David Peterson, who's a transfer back from Rice, who's also a very offensive catcher that we think should generate some power for us. In addition to that, we have 2 returning players that have generated a little bit of offense for us. Chris Miller, our first baseman, hit .369 last year for us with 5 home runs and 30 RBIs. Has now matured and strengthened and thinks that we know that he will generate some offense in that lineup. And then Julian Duran, who's been moved from shortstop to third base, hit .343 with 24 RBIs for us. In addition to that, we have a gentleman named Taylor Richardson who also came back from Oklahoma, who we like in the outfield, that we think will help us. And then a person that came on very late for us, he's only 5'6", but was actually a catalyst for our team when we were going out there. And T.J. Yashishura is a gentleman who was the spark plug. The guy who got on base for us and helped us get into the playoffs last year. Our outfield, again, we lost 4 outfielders, as I mentioned. Of those 54 home runs, all but 12 of those belong to those outfield. So these guys are going to have to step up. We're untested at this time, which you don't like to do going into this league. We rebuild every single year. We realize that, but sometimes you're rebuilding, and you just don't like going into it. But I think we'll be young. We're energetic. We'll have a little better speed, and I think hopefully we'll be able to compete at this level with some of these new people that are coming into our program. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Our next speaker is Scott Pickler from Cypress College. Scott's picked up 4 state championships and 6 Orange Empire Conference titles in his 26 years at Cypress College. He's established himself and the Cypress College program as one of the premier programs in the state and has a reputation for moving players on to 4-year universities and professional careers. In 2009, Pick was also honored by his peers in this room as he shared the Orange Empire Conference Coach of the Year award with Coach Sneddon and Orange coach John Altabelli. Pickler also spends his summers in the prestigious Cape Cod Summer League, the last 10 years as a leader of the YD Red Sox. Gentlemen, Mr. Scott Pickler.
First of all, Shaq, I want to thank you for putting this together. We all know that we got a pretty good product, we think, and the exposure we get in Orange County isn't great, and we think this is a great thing that you put on for us. Last year, I know we went alphabetical order how we did this. And watching Donnie get up here first, I think we're talking gray hair today. With Donnie leading it off meeting, I think, Nick, you might be the next one to speak probably. But the guys that we have out here today are the main reason that this league's so good. The 8 coaches there, or the 7 coaches that are out in front of me today. This league's been great for quite a while, and I think it's a big tribute to the people that are out in front of us today. And I want to thank you guys for competing. And I think you guys are the reason that most of us have the gray hairs when you start thinking about your opponents. Donnie talked about rebuilding. Donnie never rebuilds, he reloads over there at Santa Ana. And I think that's the situation for most of us. We found out, as good as we are as head coaches and as important as we think, Alto taught us last year, I think, that if you go out and you recruit the right players, you get them good in the fall, you coach them up half the year, and let them go away and play. With Alto winning the state championship last year, and like Shaq said, that gave us 13 out of the last 19 years. That's a pretty impressive number. For us this year, I'm going to take us around the horn and talk about our players, and before I do that, I'm going to start with the catcher. I've got a gentleman that's been with me for 24 years, and I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Bill Pinkham. He's on his 4th conversion in our 25 years there of a kid that had never caught before, and we're going to start the season off, and if we started tomorrow, Dimitri Delafuente would be our catcher. He's got a plus arm. He played third base last year for us, and we're looking for good things from him, and hopefully he can get that transition done behind the plate. Before I get into this any further, Donnie talked about young kids. This may be the first time in my 25 years that if I started tomorrow, I think I'd start all sophomores. I haven't had that happen ever, and most of us like a pretty good mix of freshmen and sophomores, but just by chance, it's going to end up that we're going to start all sophomores. At first base, we got a kid from the East Coast, Ben Waldrop, big 6'6" first baseman. He's taken over for Steve Kopang, who ended up at University of Oregon last year, and hopefully he can get it done. Second base is our truest battle. We got D.C. Legg that came back from the University of Utah. His dad's a coach out in Murrieta Valley, quality kid, a leader type of guy, and we have a young freshman, Joey Bonet from Canyon High School. Shortstop, again, is going to be our 5'6" shortstop, Johnny Morales. He's the kid that makes us go. I think with he and Legg up the middle, the way they talk, I think it's going to be a plus for us. Over at third base, Legg could play third base if Bonet's playing second, but it'll be Stephen Kungle, who's going to get some time on the mound. He ended up starting late in the year for us at third base. Our biggest competition is 5 sophomores that we have in the outfield, led up by a kid that we converted from a third baseman to a center fielder, and that's Eric Hempy. Eric signed early with Central Florida. He's made the transition to center field, and he'll hit either in the 1-hole or the 3-hole for us, but he's had a very, very good fall. We got Kirk Avery back from Long Beach State. He's going to be in the mix in the outfield. We got a kid, David Silvas. He'll be in the mix in the outfield. Jordan Foreman will be in the mix in the outfield. And we have a kid, Corey Levere, that was an all-league player last year. So I've got 5 of them. Somebody's going to be in the DH spot from that group. Donnie said, the key to this league is on the mound and on the bump. We got 5 kids, 5 sophomores that pitched a lot, or 4 of them pitched a lot for us last year. We got Ray Hansen, who was an all-league, all-state player, coming back. We did back up Tommy Honschel, who was our ace in 2008, who had an injury last year, and he's back with us. Travis Garrett will close again for us this year. He's on his way to UCI. He signed early with UCI. And Gabe Garcia will fill the role as our lefty, and he's got a chance to start for us also. Our most impressive freshman on the mound has been Vince Payne, a kid from El Medina. And then we have a couple other pitchers from El Dorado, Connor Haddock and Travis Pitcher. And we think that combination, that gives us some depth on the mound. The thing we do lack is we lack some team speed, but I think we're ready to go. And just like everybody here, we're ready to do battle in the OEC. And Shaq, again, I appreciate it, and good luck to everybody. Thank you.
Gentlemen, beginning his 25th season as Fullerton College's skipper, Nick Fiscardo has devoted his heart and vast experience to the Hornet baseball program. With 481 career wins, Fiscardo is the school's second winningest coach, trailing only Hornet Hall of Famer Mike Scoba's 484. Fiscardo's led the Hornets to 25 or more wins in 6 seasons, including 1988 when he guided Fullerton to a school record 30 victories. He also has 13 seasons with 20 or more wins with the Hornets, and Fiscardo has coached more than 50 players who've been drafted or have signed with professional contracts, and more than 150 of Fiscardo's players have gone to play baseball at the 4-year level. Nick is yet another community college product, as he was a starting second baseman at El Camino College in the 60s and was an all-Metro Conference selection. Gentlemen, one of our own, Nick Fiscardo.
Thank you, Keith. I like to repeat what Scott said, too. What a classy thing that you put on here, Keith, and we all appreciate this very, very much. I don't think anybody across the nation is as fortunate as we are to have this kind of a situation. So thank you very, very much. And so now the circus begins. The Orange Empire Conference deal won't be long. And, yeah, you're right, the gray hair, that's a result, definitely a result of getting ready to play and whatnot. The Hornets this year last year we had a tough year. We had some eligibility issues and injury issues, and we were depleted. Going into the fall last year, I thought we had a really good chance of winning the title, and it just didn't happen whenever you lose our arms and you lose. And so we ran a lot of young kids out there. So through a baptism of fire, okay, they were, they had to learn the hard way. So hopefully we're going to, come back this year and be a lot more competitive than we were last year. The infielders we got a young man that just came back from, we got him from Cal State Fullerton, Stephen Mancia, who just absolutely has, molded our infield and solidified what we have to do. We moved our shortstop last year, which is Alan Rodarty, to second base, and our middle infield is very strong right now. That's just happened in the last month, so that's been a kind of a really positive thing for us. Our first baseman is George Flores. George was a sophomore out of Fullerton High School. George is a great kid because every day, no matter what, whether it be practice or game, he's filthy, dirty, he dives for everything. Scares me because he's going to hurt himself, but that's how he plays. And George is named one of our captains this year, so he'll be a catalyst for our club. Our third baseman, we got a kid. 2 guys are competing for that job. We got a guy from Kansas, J.P. LeMunyon. In fact, I'm so old, I coached his dad, so that's how that goes. As a matter of fact, I was out to dinner the other night with my family, and this guy comes up to me, and he had his wife and family, and he said, "You see this man right here?" He said, "He coached Grandpa." And, of course, I caught a lot of beating on that thing from everybody in the deal. So, yeah, I've been around since probably the invention of water, so that's all right. So J.P. LeMunyon is the guy at third base who can hit, and he was formerly a shortstop. We moved him over there where I think that's going to be the best thing for him. We got a kid out of Sonora High School named Cameron Lutweiler who will compete for that job, and also at first base. Our outfield is we got a couple kids back, and hopefully there's going to be some improvement. Center fielder is Tony McClendon, who's a big, strong kid. Scouts come over and they love him because he has a great body. He looks like a big leaguer. And so Tony's a guy who we think is going to hopefully develop into the guy that he expects and we expect him to. So our left fielder is Corey McCloskey out of El Camino High School in Oceanside. Runs well. He's gotten better. So hopefully, he's going to go out and be able to get things done for us. Right field, we got a transfer out at Chapman College, a kid named Ben Owens out of Northwood High School. Ben loves to play the game, so he's competing there with a kid from Norco named Blake Conlon. So, we're going to we didn't lose 54 home runs because we never hit that many home runs. So I'm hoping we can get up to double figures this year. That'd be really a thrill for everybody. But at any rate, our pitching staff is, like I said, baptism of fire last year. We had a kid who ran out there, and, boy, we gave him an opportunity. He was 0-9. Nick Cervantes, 0-9. Pretty tough. That set a record, I think, for probably the state and the world, for losses. But Nick Cervantes, big right-hander who's gotten a little bit better this year, and if he can get his stuff together, he'll be a guy for us. We got a freshman out of Anaheim High School, Rory Gaddy. Filthy stuff. I mean, he's in a learning process as well. We have a left-hander named Matt Haney, who everything moves, and sometimes it moves out of the strike zone, so he gets that thing straightened away, and we'll have a chance to compete. All in all, our conference is just the toughest thing in the world. I love it. I can always remember back, Hal Scherbeck was our athletic director, brought me in his office and said, Nick, he said, how'd you like to play in an Orange County conference? I said, that'd be fine because we were previously in the South Coast. And I said, that'd be cool. If we had to do that all over again, I'd probably do the same thing, But that was it's a very invigorating thing to play in this Orange Empire Conference. So, for the people who are watching, who look at this thing from back east, all of us we've already heard the first couple of guys. We got kids from all over the nation coming out here, and why? Because they want to play in the best conference in America. It's because these coaches, have done such a great job. They want to come out here and play. Thank you very much, Keith. Again, appreciate everything.
Thank you, Coach. For those who are watching this year, they'll remember that last year we had Coach Gillespie from UC Irvine here. Coach Gillespie turned that and parlayed that right into a #1 ranking for 6 weeks in the NCAA's Division I poll, and he still thanks us to this day for having him last year. And you'll remember also he talked about the fact that from his perspective, this is the best college baseball conference in America, top to bottom, because everyone here can compete. We're so glad to have you guys here. Thank you. Next up, Coach Bert Villarreal enters his 21st season as head coach at Golden West. In 2004, Bert was the co-conference coach of the year, and the Rustlers ended the season as OEC champions. The Golden West program has had more than 160 players earn scholarships to four-year universities and has had 19 players play in the major leagues. Gentlemen, please welcome Bert Villarreal.
Thanks, Keith. This is a great honor to be able to do this up here. For this year's team, it's going to be a lot of fun. We had a great fall. Offensively, I thought it was our best fall that we've had in a number of years. I would compare it to that 2004 team that we had. Like Pick said, we've got possibly 7, 8 sophomores that will be starting for us as we start this year out. We kind of learned under the baptism of fire, like Nick put it, last year. Very young squad, very inexperienced pitching staff, and we're going into it with a very experienced position players on the field. But as far as the pitching staff, we're going to have to be able to throw strikes in a downhill plane and be able to play catch. Our problem last year, and it's a problem that our sophomores have worked their tails off to fix, is we didn't play very good defense last year. I think we led the state, maybe the country, in errors last year. It was quite embarrassing, and our sophomores really have done a good job this fall in improving that effort. They've got something to prove, and they've told me that. They've said, Coach, we're not going to go through what we did last year. It was an embarrassing year for us all, and the program is ready to step it up this year. We're looking forward to it. How are we going to do that? It's going to be with team speed and with a little bit of pop. We're going to finally have a little bit of pop. We haven't had it in a few years. Leading off that pop would be A.J. Bass, returning all-conference third baseman. In 10 scrimmages this fall, had 10 home runs. Had a great fall. Just tore the cover off the ball. Following him up, Chris Davinsky, shortstop, who's also going to be one of our starting pitchers, has really opened some eyes both by the scouts and by the four-year schools. going to be our number one when we get going. Power guy, still learning how to pitch. We didn't pitch him last year. He came out of Gar High School last year as a pitcher shortstop. We used him primarily as a shortstop, but he's a power arm, and there's a lot of people that are very, very interested in him. Following up on him, probably our best athlete is Jordan Tripp, center fielder, bounced back from Cal State Fullerton 2 years ago. Had a good year for us last year, struck out a little bit too much last year, has improved tremendously upon that this year. Has cut that down very much so, and is putting the ball in play, and he has great speed. As we go around the infield, you can go from starting from the catcher position, freshman catcher from Edison High School, Donald Sneed, all CIF, all Sunset League MVP, great arm, very good defensive catcher, and also can hit and hit with a little bit of power. He's more of a gap-to-gap type guy right now, but I foresee in the future him hitting for a lot of power. First base is still a competition. Billy Silvestri, who redshirted last year, was an all-conference player for us his freshman year. Injured his shoulder last year. He's back. He will play some first base, and he'll actually fill in at catcher. He's a great utility player. I could put Billy anywhere on the field, and he would do a more than adequate job anywhere on the field. And plus, as far as hitting goes, he'll probably be in the 5 spot for us. Very good power there. Second base, Brent Taney, hit .320 for us last year, was injured. I think played in 16 games because of the injuries, but has really improved his defense. Great range, learned how to turn the double play very well, very solid player. He's going to hit in the 2-hole for us. Like I said, at shortstop, Chris Davinsky. When he's not playing, when he's pitching, Mario Gordon from Long Beach Poly High School will step in and play shortstop then. At third base, A.J. Baez. And then to round out the outfield, when we go through, Alec Rosales hit over 300 for us last year. Solid, very solid defender, good speed, hits from the left side, so he'll be hit somewhere in the lineup, probably around the 7 spot. Already talked about Jordan Tripp in center field, and in right field there's a battle going on right now. Zach Cardinale and Colin Hoffman, who just bounced back from USC at the break for us. Real good speed with Colin, and a very good gap-to-gap type hitter. The question mark right now is on the mound. Without a doubt, we're very inexperienced, so we're going to have to get our freshman pitchers on the bump early and get that experience going with them. Already talked about Chris Davinsky being our number 1. Race Parmenter from Marina High School will be our number 2. Race is a competitor. He's a bulldog. He goes right after people, has a good mixture of pitches. Not a real power guy. He's about an 87, throws about 86 to 87, but has very good movement on the fastball and can throw a very good cutter. Beyond him, we've got a couple freshmen. Barry Luke from Huntington Beach High School, good command, can split the plate in 2, good runner, good cutter. Blake Sester from Huntington Beach High School. I think this kid has a future once he starts to develop and mature. Great pitcher's body. He just needs to start getting a little bit stronger, and he improved tremendously as the fall continued on. So we're looking for some big things from him. Left-hander out of Las Vegas, Robert Welch, came to us this year. Very good changeup. I see him getting a lot of innings for us. And Brian Raines, sophomore, returning sophomore, had a disappointing year last year for us. Started the year off with like gangbusters, but then had a few nagging injuries, and it set him back last year. But he's come back. He's got very good movement, and we look for big things out of him. But mainly, the key to our success is going to be the maturation of our pitchers, because I think we're going to be okay on the field. I think offensively we're going to be okay. We're going to have real good team speed. It's just a matter of us being able to throw strikes and, number 2, play catch behind them. Thank you very much, Keith, once again, and good luck, guys.
Thanks, Bruce. A reminder to those who might be watching this, no matter where you might be, mirroring the success of our baseball programs, we're fortunate in the Orange Empire Conference to probably have the best collection of SIDs in the state. Our websites are very comprehensive, rosters, schedules, statistics, as well as what is now the brand new OEC sports.com, the Orange Empire Conference's site run by Jason Keller at Santa Ana. So for those that are watching, for more information, whether you be a recruit, a parent, or a four-year coach, lots of information available from lots of different sources, including game recaps and things of that nature, so please be sure to visit our websites throughout the year. Our next coach is the host coach for today's event. Kent Madole begins his ninth season as skipper at Irvine Valley College. Madole, an Orange County native, leads the Lasers into the 2010 season on the heels of the college's most successful recruiting season ever, as 8 players signed scholarships during the 2009 campaign. This followed the winningest season in program history in 2008, when IVC produced school records for wins at 32 and conference wins at 13. 2008 also saw IVC advance their program's second super regional appearance in the last 4 years. Not bad for a program that's only existed 8 years total in a conference of this magnitude. Gentlemen, Kent Madole.
Good morning, guys. Hey, Shaq, again, thank you for doing this. Good to see everybody again. Hey, listen, Irvine Valley College, we're excited about this group. As opposed in contrast with Pick over at Cypress, we're the youngest group that we've ever had by far. Only have 4 returning sophomore guys, 2 of which actually didn't even play last year, had taken a year off. But that's a good thing, a lot of turnover. We had several guys, like Keith mentioned, move on to the 4-year school level. Sean Williams, our second baseman from last year, is at UC Santa Barbara. Connor Rhodes is at Cal State Northridge. Corey Tebow, Robbie Robinson are out at Valpo in Indiana. Reyes is at Cal State Bakersfield. So we're pretty proud of that fact, but it's left us very young. But it's a good group of guys. We did pretty well, we felt, at least in terms of finding and identifying guys out of the high schools locally that are going to fit well for Irvine Valley College. Not a bunch of standout guys. We don't have a lot of D1 bounce back guys. That's just not who we are. So we've had to find different ways to be successful. And we feel like the work ethic, the mentality of the guys are showing well right now. There's a good progression of growth. It's got to continue. Obviously, hearing the other clubs speak, we're going to have our work cut out for us as usual. But a couple unique aspects about this club I'd like to mention. We've added a new coach to our staff, Tony Capicelli. Many of you are familiar with him. He's a local born and bred Orange County guy, went to Edison High School, was a standout catcher there, set the Orange County career record for home runs. Went on to University of Nevada, Reno, helped them win a Big West Conference championship in 2000. He's coached in many different capacities the last several years, even internationally, high school level, youth camps, etc. So really excited to have him on board as a staff member. He'll work directly with the catchers, and has just brought a lot of new fresh ideas, fresh energy. And the guys are really responding to him. So excited to have him on board. By far, again, the youngest group that we've had. It's presented a challenge in some ways, like other coaches have mentioned, in terms of the experience. So we've had to do a lot of different things in terms of the practice plan, what we call pressure cookers or just situationals. So things are starting to weed themselves out in terms of guys and some separation. It would be getting way ahead of ourselves to start naming certain spots and who's won what position, even on the mound. We're not even there yet. The next 2.5 weeks are going to decide an awful lot. But again, the work ethic and I think the competitiveness with what's going on out there is something that we feel really good about as a coaching staff. We've got a lot of interchangeable parts, more than I think we've ever had, in terms of guys that can play multiple spots effectively, pitchers who can also play a position. And what that's allowed us to do is keep our roster size down, which has been nice because with the youth, they've needed more reps. They've needed more one-on-one interaction with coaches. They've needed more of the situational type experience. So by far the smallest roster size, more interchangeable parts. I think we can show some multiple looks in terms of lineups and guys at certain positions depending on who we're playing. So that'll be unique. It'll be a situation we're going to have to be creative a little bit, but I think it does. It lends itself to us being a little bit more in tune with our guys' strengths, weaknesses, and what we need to work on. Like I said, I think it's going to get way ahead of ourselves at this point to start naming specific guys at specific spots. And with the interchangeable parts, I think that's going to just, that will shift depending on, again, who we're playing week to week. But some standout guys. Edgar Zamora from Beckman was a standout third baseman over there. We're excited to have him. Micah Gorman from Tesoro, a standout position player, third baseman, can play outfield as well. Benny Agradano from Catella, he's been strong. He's shown some good presence and even pop at the plate for a shortstop. Daniel Urbina from Pacifica. He's shown very well over at first base. Joel Lutz, actually from Canada, he's got some pop at the plate, and he's very, very loose and quick with the hands and feet around the bag. On the mound, Austin Alva is a guy that took a year off from Villa Park. He's a left-handed pitcher, smaller, but he's got some zip and can really PFP well. Mike Sinez is a returner, strong right-handed guy. Had some successful moments last year. He's had a lot of growth this year, a lot of maturity, so we're looking for some things from him. Cody Fitzgerald from Tesoro, left-hander, that can dip and dive it. He'll have to be crafty, but shown a lot of presence and tenacity on the mound. Cameron Slaw, good right-handed pitcher, fairly quick to the plate, and has some good effective off speed with a good two-seam run on the fastball. So we're happy to have him. But again, there's so much to be decided. We're excited with the group and their mentality. It's a fun group to be around. Their energy is high. We certainly do not fancy ourselves to be a team that's going to set the Orange Empire on fire by any stretch. Like I said, unlike other clubs in this conference, we don't roll out a bunch of D1 bounce backs. We're going to have to find other ways to be successful, and we've done that in the past. We have to continue the progression of growth that we're showing, but we have reasons to believe that we're going to be competitive this year, so we're excited to get it going. And again, coaches, really appreciate the opportunity to compete with you, and I've learned a great deal from you over the years. Thanks again.
Well, we've skewed a little younger as we've gone along. First Bert, now Kent, which makes it really fun to introduce our next speaker. Eddie Cornejo is an assistant coach at Riverside College. Eddie comes to coaching after a stint in professional baseball. Another former community college player. He was the Oakland A's 13th-round selection in 2003 after an all-Big 12 career as an infielder at Oklahoma. Gentlemen, please welcome our youngest speaker today, Eddie Cornejo.
Thank you, Keith, for all of your efforts. Thank you to IVC for their hard work. And thank you for the opportunity to speak about our players. First off, 2 words to describe our team this year in 2010. Drastic improvement. I guess from last year there was really only one way to go. So we're very excited. We're a very young and very energetic group, which we look forward to working and developing with. First of all, our sophomores. We have 3 returning pitchers. Eric Young and Jeff Murray are the 2 notable ones. They will be sharing both starting and relieving roles. Still untested, short experience last year. We're going to expect big things from them. From a position player standpoint, we have 4 position players returning. Most notably, Patrick Johnson, who's got some athletic ability. He's an outfielder. And Edwin Mendoza, who played outfield last year, who has now made a decent job transitioning into the infield. So we're looking forward to them to perform and to get some production out of them. 2 bounce backs to make a quick note of. Casey McCarthy out of Cal Poly Pomona, who just recently came on board, right-handed, hard-throwing pitcher, who we're looking to provide some stability in the starting roles. And also outfielder Winton Bernard, who hails from Poway, California, came to us from Niagara, a very big, strong, physical kid, so he can anchor the outfield. We're going to be very, very young, as you can see, but we're very excited. The 3 freshmen I want to make quick note of. Aaron LaFontaine, who hails from Riverside, very, very athletic, who's got some very big upside. We're fortunate to have him in the outfield. Chad Erickson, who's a high school infielder who comes to us from Yucaipa High School. So we're looking forward to him being in the middle of our order to provide some offensive production there. And Christopher Butler, who hails from Upland, California, out of Upland High. He has done a great job, great student, and that's really what's defined our team. What's going to define our team this year is we just have a great bunch of quality individuals, students, and we're looking forward to competing in the Orange Empire. We're looking forward to getting back into playoff contention this year and just competing against. It's an honor for me to speak in front of all of you with all your experience. We look forward to a great season. Thank you.
Our next speaker is another of our veteran coaches. Jack Hodges from Saddleback College is preparing for his 21st season as the Gauchos head coach and his 41st season overall as a coach in Southern California. Through those 40 seasons, he has an overall record of 861, 467, and 6. And in his 20 seasons with the Gauchos, he has an overall record of 544 and 330. And also, like his OAC colleagues, this room is full of those kind of folks. Hodges has led Saddleback to the state final in multiple seasons, taking a state championship in 2004. Gentlemen, Jack Hodges.
Keith, thanks a lot. Kent, IVC. I feel very honored to be here to talk to you today. Saddleback College has been a great run for me after 20 plus years at the high school level. And I remember those days many years ago when the job opened and I applied and was fortunate enough to be hired. In that particular time, I've found how very, very difficult it is to play in this conference, to play against such storied programs as we have in the conference. It has made me and us and the coaching staff have to do just a super job to get out there and find the players to play. And after this fall, we sat down in November, had our exit meetings with the players, and when we were done, we felt that we had really, we feel is probably the best club we've had in 10 years. And yet after listening to everybody speak, it seems as though it's a relative thing because everybody else seems to be better than they were last year, and we are better than we were last year. Last year we were 29-20, made the Southern California playoffs, beat College of the Canyons in the first round in the 2 out of the 3 series. We lost to Orange Coast, the eventual state champion, in the Super Regionals, and we played I think our toughest schedule. I had one of you in here tell me that in order for us to move on in the playoff RPIs and so on, we needed to improve our schedule a little bit. And last year we played our toughest schedule. We in fact played 14 preseason games against 7 conference champions, including Sierra, the state championship from the year before, Cerritos, Southwestern, Cuesta, Chaffee, Santa Barbara, College of the Canyons, and Palomar. And I thought it really prepared us very, very well for last season, and we pretty much have the same schedule this year. Obviously, we've lost a few games, the cutbacks, but we are going to play a similar schedule, and we feel it will prepare us again. Overall, we had, like I say, we feel like we're a better club than last year. We're better offensively. We have more pop, more power, a little bit more physical. We're better defensively, and where the question mark exists will be on the mound because we have one returning pitcher who part-time pitched last year, and yet we really feel that our arms are pretty good, including 8 position players who pitch, and I mean pitch. They're not just throwers, and I'll go over that shortly. But before I do that, I want to mention something about our coaching staff. I'd be remiss if I did not, because I think they are the reason that we are as successful as we are. And it starts with Coach Summer McCartney, who has just done a super job for us and for me. He's been with us 12 years, interrupted by a 4-year stint where he was the head coach at Aliso Niguel High School. We have Larry Holt, who was coaching at Santa Margarita High School before he moved over. We have Clayton Carson and Eric Brock, 2 players for us on our state championship 2014, who have worked with us now for the last 4 or 5 years. And we have Jeff Fox, who was the head coach at Palm Desert High School, who has moved to help us out at Saddleback. He and his wife and newborn baby have moved into the area, and Jeff's been with us now for the 3rd season. But they are really the reason that we're as successful as we have been over the years, and I thank them for doing such a great job. Our top returning players, led by center fielder Brett Vertigan, who I feel is one of the best center fielders in Southern California, maybe all of California, community college baseball. He started all 49 games for us last year, can run and throw left. He hit .340 for us, is our team captain, and just does a super job. He makes us go. We returned 4 of our 5 starting outfielders, starting with Sean Parvin, who was a transfer from UCI. Last year had, wrist problems and yet still hit .360. Played very well and played in 40 of our 49 games. Our shortstop, Darren Coombs, who has really drawn the interest of a lot of four-year schools. He's gotten a little stronger, a little quicker. He's got a great arm, and hit a solid .280 for us last year. Third baseman Dalton Sipe, who led us in home runs last year, hit .340 as a freshman, which, as you know, is pretty unusual. It's a tough thing to do in this conference, and he's back, and he's playing better than ever. Our catcher Tyler Krobetsky, who started he was kind of a off and on catcher for us the first part of the year, started the last 25 games for us, and he made us go. He does a great job of receiving, and he hit .330 for us. Infielder Chris Mata, he played all 3 positions for us last year. He's just a little spark plug, left-handed hitter, does a super job out of San Clemente. He hit .353 for us last year. First baseman Vince Gonzalez, who was at Mission Viejo High School, was one of 2 freshmen in the Big Ten to start last year at Indiana, is back with us. Big, strong kid. He offers a lot of pop in the middle of the lineup for us. Outfielder, right-handed pitcher Tucker Albers, who's just back from his 2-year mission, who 2 years ago led El Paso Community College in batting average, home runs, RBIs, and was also their closer. And he's, as I say, just back from his 2-year mission. He's out of Houston, Texas. In addition, we have catcher Jordan Heil from Santa Margarita High School. He bounced back from St. Mary's in Moraga, gives us a lot of depth behind the plate. And our key incoming freshman. And we feel, the best group of freshmen that we've recruited in a long time, led by pitchers Matt Munson out of Northwood High School, Bobby Castellano out of Palomar College, and Ian Parvin out of Northwood High School, brother of Sean. Catching, a couple of guys, Eric Elo, another one of those players that can get on the mound as well. And if you remember him last year at Dana Hills High School, he pitched and caught. It was the MVP of the Orange County All-Star Game. He's a super presence in the middle of the lineup. He can really swing the bat. Big, strong kid. Also Tanner Gore out of Foothill High School, who's done a great job for us all fall. Our infielders, Elliot Martin out of University High School, Tyler Amundsen out of Palm Desert High School, who hit, I think, 8-9 home runs in the fall. Big, strong kid, 6'4", 215. Can also get on the mound. He's 88 to 90 miles an hour and is going to be a presence for us, we feel. Jake Nelson out of Cottonwood High School in Utah is a kid who came to us as a third baseman and can play the game, but when we saw him on the mound and the scouts saw him, they said, my goodness, this kid is something. He's got a major league curveball, and he's upper 80s right now as he begins to get stronger. Brian Flores out of Aliso Niguel High School, another key recruit for us, big, strong left-handed hitter. And let's see, I guess the last group of players would be the outfielders, where we have Brian Carcerano and Riley Pitts, both out of Aliso Niguel High School, and Andrew Wellman out of El Toro. Again, and I've missed, I guess I left one other outfielder out, and that's Dylan Christensen out of J. Sarah High School, who's just a super athlete, and again, another young man who can pitch. That kind of is an overview of our ball club. It's a good group, and they're going to have to be to play in this conference. We had a great fall. We really felt we made some major strides, and I'm looking forward to the opening of the season in a little bit more than 2 weeks. I want to encourage you also to go to another website, and that's Spinco Stats, which is run by Dick Hamilton and his group of people, because it is the statewide stat area for us, all of us, to kind of follow what's going on not only in the conference, but around the state. And I know that every Division I coach and all four-year colleges access that site, and the job that Dick has done has been phenomenal. So Thank you again, Kent, Keith, and everybody else. And coaches, I wish you the best of luck. It's going to be a dogfight again. Thank you.
One more reminder for those who might be watching. When you access our websites, be sure to do your analysis as it applies to the academic standing of our colleges. Again, mirroring the image of our baseball programs, the colleges in Orange County have sterling reputations academically. Transfer rates, the ability for four-year coaches to come to our coaches, look them in the eye, and know that our kids are well prepared both athletically and academically to succeed at whatever level comes next for them. We lead the state, at least one of us does, in some way, shape, or form in terms of transfer rates, the numbers of transfers, the UC transfers, the Cal State transfers. We really have a wonderful academic reputation in our conference, and we encourage you to look at, as part of your recruiting mechanism, the kind of kids that we're producing here. And if you're a recruit looking at us, the kind of person we can make you as part of the baseball program as well. We have one more program we need to mention, Orange Coast College and John Altobelli. John couldn't join us today. He had a little bit of last-minute personal business to take care of. Not an emergency of any kind, so we know he's okay. But we wanted to make sure we at least made mention of Coach Altobelli. After all, his program is the defending state champion as part of the Orange Empire Conference. Coach Altobelli enters his 18th season as head coach of the Orange Coast baseball program. The Pirates return as the defending state champs after a 37-14 campaign in 2009, while Alto shared OEC Coach of the Year honors with Coach Pickler and Coach Snedden. It was the third consecutive year that Coast compiled at least 30 wins and made a super regional appearance. On a personal note, Coach Altobelli is also the winningest coach in OCC history now, as he cracked the 400 career win mark in 2009, passing OCC legend Mike Main in the process. So for those that didn't get a chance to hear Coach Altobelli talk today, please be sure you visit the Orange Coast website. Gentlemen, thank you. It's such an honor to be part of this organization, and the respect and collegiality you show for one another is clearly shown. It's not just your image in front of the camera, but it's also deeply heartfelt. So we appreciate your efforts. We love the fact that we're part of this organization, and we couldn't be prouder to be a part of it. Thank you again for joining us for the second annual Orange Empire Conference Media Day. We'd like to thank our coaches, our sports information directors, and our friends in the media for making this day possible. And a big thanks to Vince Cooper and the Irvine Valley College TV crew. Again, a reminder to our viewers to please visit our websites for schedules and more information on OEC baseball, and please join us this spring at a college ballpark near you. Gentlemen, thank you again.